The title of this video is going to be, why do God's chosen ones have it the hardest? First of all, I hope you guys are doing well. Hope everything is okay. I hope your day is going as planned. This is nikymus, and you're welcome to the channel of truth, enlightenment, freedom, and the channel for breaking empires free. If you are new on this channel, I talk about narcissism and narcissistic abuse. I talk about spirituality. I talk about personal and self-development. And if that's what resonates with you, I invite you guys to join us, give us a like, share this video with friends, and you may subscribe if you haven't already. And for those that have always been with us, you are welcome back. And I thank you for your love and support. Now, as you guys, I always, you hear me talking about hit the like button, okay? I don't know. This thing is like a second. The video plays about 15, 20 minutes. Hitting the like is just 1 second. And some of you guys don't know that our channels grow when you show us some love by liking the video, okay? So when I say hit the like button, please, it helps us with it helps these channels with the algorithm, so the messages can spread out further, okay, to so many souls that need this kind of content. So we grow. Those things, little things you do, viewing videos, liking and sharing, we grow. And especially sharing. Sharing is also very powerful. You can also share the videos. You have got your platforms on Instagram. You have got your TikTok accounts and whatever. Share those videos, okay? It helps us to grow as well. And it keeps us motivated as creators. Now, as a chosen one, you have most likely noticed that you know this since we're back in time. But now you come to this awareness that your life was hard. Now, I do not know any chosen one who has had it easy, okay? Our struggles have been different. But there is one thing we are all familiar with, is the toughest battles we've been fighting. We've been fighting battles with the family. As a chosen one, almost 80 to 90%, you have been fighting battles with your own family. You have been fighting battles with your own wives. You've been fighting battles with your own husbands. You've been fighting battles at work. And it feels like these battles cannot end. You don't know where these battles are coming from. Sometimes you don't even know who is fighting you, because sometimes they are fighting you behind the scenes. So you shouldn't know where the shots are coming from. That is a very common scenario when it comes to the chosen ones. So as you continue to wake up, you're going to recognize, you remember how hard your life has been. When you're talking about chosen ones, there is people who think that this whole thing of being chosen is a walk in the park. They think that it's all peaches and cream because you're chosen, so you're protected and everything. So it sounds nice to speak about it. But ladies and gentlemen, there's a very big responsibility that comes with being chosen. You have been chosen for a purpose. You will be guided, of course, but even through that guidance, you are going to find yourself in the most horrible situations that you can never think about. You may sometimes think it was a coincidence that all of a sudden, out of the blue, you ended up with a narcissist. That narcissist was placed on your path for a reason, okay? 20 years down the road of torture, abuse, and pain, you're waking up and you're choosing to leave the narcissist. Do you think it's really a coincidence that the very moment you leave the narcissist, you find your mission, you find your purpose? Usually you will, okay, if you are eager to, And if you really want to, you will find your purpose. And you will figure out that there's a lot of chosen people that are being trapped in very horrible conditions. If you guys don't know, do you know that there is a lot of chosen people that have been incarcerated for things they have not even done? Did you guys actually know there is chosen people who are being terminated from their jobs for no reason? They just don't want them there. You know, you have a narcissistic boss, and the boss thinks that you're the problem. You know, that's the problem with these people. They don't look inside of themselves. They just want to think somebody else is the problem, and they're going to sack you from job. You can see chosen people who might have been evicted from their homes. You don't understand what happened. You know, the house boss just woke up one day. They wasn't feeling good about your energy, and they told you to leave the home. Maybe they wanted to repossess the house, or maybe they wanted to sell the house. But for some reason, you was evicted from your house. Now, one of the things what I've noticed, the universe always comes through for chosen people. Okay? The universe always comes through for a chosen one. Whatever it is that is thrown your way, by some chance, you don't know how things align themselves, you make it through. You've been sacked from a job. Let's say, for example, you've been fired from work. You might go out there, and there can be other companies that are willing to use your services. It can be a case where, for example, you left your house, you left your home. It has just been 2 days, sometimes even on the same day, you have been provided another place to stay. So this is something which happened actually. This thing happened to me recently, you know. Out of the blue, I get this letter of repossession. Oh, you know, I get this notice of repossession. Well, I was happy with that notice because I was still not willing to stay in that place anyway. So the place was already very toxic, okay? It wasn't even good for my mental health. And I'd already been anticipating to leave, but it was very obvious when I received this letter, repossession. Can I promise you guys that within 2 hours of arrival, because this time I was on, I went out for holidays. On arrival, that same day, ladies and gentlemen, this person is like, oh, you need to leave very fast. You know, you have the repossession, this and this. So they were starting to make it personal. And then I was like, that's okay. I will move. Can I promise you that in 2 hours later, ladies and gentlemen, I got a new house. I didn't even struggle with it. New house was there waiting for me. So, chosen people have gone through stuff that that only them can understand. They can't even explain. Sometimes it feels like the whole world is crashing down on you. You see, when you're a beautiful soul, you have always got to understand that you live around evil people. Okay, so there is evil people all over the world. Those people, they want to have their way. They're not interested in what you want. Okay, so they will always, you'll always usually find yourself very oppressed. People that usually want to push you left and right, they want to put you in a tight corner. They want to make it very difficult for you. And these are things you cannot even explain because you don't understand. Why all of a sudden you're receiving that that energy. Okay, you're receiving this energy of hatred around you. This one hates you, that one hates you, this one doesn't like you, this one is sending you left, that one is sending you right. You don't understand where the energy is coming from. You don't know what you have done. You can find sometimes chosen people, like I've said, they was incarcerated. There's things they don't even know about. Maybe somebody just scapegoated them in a situation and they were, they was blamed for something they didn't do. Sometimes you can find chosen people who have been ex-prostitutes. You may start hearing their story and you may hear something like prostitution along their journey. So they was usually pushed in a certain corner where they had to fight for themselves, okay? Just sometimes even to fight to pay their bills, or sometimes even to fight just to feed themselves. And they will tell you things like sometimes they had to go and sell their bodies. Now, I don't necessarily say that everybody who sells their body, they are prostitutes. But as a chosen one, that is the last thing you want to do. But for some mysterious reason, you might have been pushed at a certain corner. Because remember, at a certain corner to sell your body. You have got to remember something, guys. The enemy is against chosen ones. What is making your life very difficult and impossible is because the enemy is always after your progress. The enemy doesn't want anything for you. They always have something to say about you. They always have something to complain about you. And sometimes you don't even know what you've done. So when you start looking around the world, you see chosen ones, they are homeless, very good people, beautiful hearts. They mean well for everybody. They only want to do good things in society, but for some reason they are homeless. They are sleeping in their cars. Some of them are squeezing themselves with a neighbor, All those things are happening and you just don't really know what you did, okay? Homelessness, prostitution, you can find chosen ones who are dealing with addictions. Some of them, you might find them on the streets. They are struggling with alcohol. Some of them are struggling with drugs. You simply don't understand what is happening. Now, in all these experiences that you go through as a chosen person, there is things that God is trying to show you, okay? Because you see, God is going to place you in the exact place where you're going to learn your lessons, okay? The only thing you don't know about yourself as a chosen one is that you have been equipped with the tools to get out of every situation that you have been, okay? You have the tools inside of you. God has given you this wisdom. It is inside there. You just haven't yet tapped into your higher self. But you have been equipped with the tools that you need that is going to get you out of any situation that you have been put into. But still, before you even ever think about leaving a certain situation, you're going to be placed in certain places and you're going to learn something, okay? Because you see, a chosen one, a real chosen one, has got a real story, okay? The moment they come out on the other side, they will sit down with you and they will tell you the things that they've gone through. And it can sound like a fairy tale. You cannot even believe. Because you see, one of the things you need to understand, we live in a very wicked world, okay? The world is very wicked. There's wickedness everywhere. So on this matrix, it's run on low vibrational energy, okay? It's a very low vibrational, a low frequency dimension. And that's why you see a lot of suffering everywhere. People are just suffering and struggling and lying and cheating and abusing. That's how the matrix operates. So you being a beautiful person and a real, authentic, genuine soul, it becomes very difficult to fit into the things that normal people do. But even then, when you are being forced to do that, there will be some situations whereby you may be pushed in the corner and you somehow figure out one way that you think you can survive. And you may sometimes end up in very unexplainable, horrific situations just because you're trying to survive. But one thing I will tell you as well is that a time comes when the dust settles. So you see, one of the chances the universe will give you after going through all those horrific experiences, one of the things that the universe will do, the very first thing, you are going to be awakened. Your awakening is the beginning of your transformation. I do not know any chosen person who has awakened. If you're talking about awakening, you have awakened and this, you really need to understand what is a real spiritual awakening. Because spiritual awakening, during the spiritual awakenings, you also experience an ego death. When you experience an ego death, you're able to rise up in your authentic self, in your authentic version. Because you see, you have been fooled by the ego over the years. People told you couldn't survive. People was sending you out of homes. People was doing this. People was sending you out of job. But when you fall out with your ego, you're now starting to understand that the power and the secret has always been lying inside of you. You was just not aware of it. There is things that have been hidden inside of you. You just didn't tap into those things. But the moment you awaken, you fall out with your ego. So you go through an ego death. The moment you go through an ego death, that is when everything starts making sense. Okay? You're aware of things around you. You know what you can do and what you can't do. So you start doing some healing work, and eventually you're going to grow and become your greatest version. So life normally changes the moment the universe chooses you to wake up. Because you see, your suffering has been like you've been in some kind of a school. It has been like a school. You've been in a school, okay? You did all your exams, you did all the tests, and at the end of those exams, you graduate and you move on to the next level. So that is that's the best way I can explain a spiritual awakening. Is why you see people that go through spiritual awakenings, they can never be the same. It doesn't matter how much you want to stay that same person, it's not possible because you fall out with your ego. When I was waking up, I had been struggling with the narcissist for so many years. Okay, so when I got this awakening, I had an ego death. It was a very, very serious ego death. And for the very first time that particular evening, I was able to sit down for the very first time in so many years. And I told this particular individual that, listen, whatever's been happening is all a mess. Okay, this whole marriage is messed up. Everything is too messed up. There's nothing we can do, and I'm leaving. So I was able to stand up on my feet, and I was able to refuse disrespect, and I was able to walk away from a very dysfunctional individual. I can promise you, ladies and gentlemen, of course, later on, I also had the second awakening to a dysfunctional family system. But the moment I was able to leave everything behind, ladies and gentlemen, my life took off. My life took off, ladies and gentlemen. It has never been the same. So regardless of what you are going through as a person, as a chosen one, you have got to know something. It will all end. Okay? All that turmoil and suffering and whatever, everything will end. Okay? Everything will stop, and you're going to be reborn. So a spiritual awakening is like a rebirth. Okay? And as long as you put in the work to better yourself and to make right decisions and to choose peace and to choose yourself, you will reach a moment where you will see everything is starting to take off. That will not be a coincidence. And now you're going to remember, because you see, even if you're a prostitute, let's say, for example, you're chosen one and you're a prostitute, you might go through this awakening at your job place. Something may just trigger you to wake up. I can promise you, the moment you wake up, the next day, you're not going to go back to the strip club. You're not going to go back to sell your body for money. You're going to start understanding your worth, because you're falling out with your ego. So the ego death is necessary. Okay? It is the ego death which drags you out of any situation that you have always been, that has been kept you, because usually you may spend your time, a very long period of time, trapped. It's like you're a slave. You're in this mental slavery. But when you fall out with your ego, ladies and gentlemen, you go out there, you're going to make the decision to walk away from disrespect, and you're going to make a decision to walk away from pain. No matter what is going to happen, sometimes you may decide, okay, I have got my car. This landlord is very toxic. It's a very toxic home. You are going to go and choose to stay in your car than staying in a very toxic, comfortable environment. You are going to choose to stay in your car, because that is where you find your peace. And that is where exactly your growth will start. So for a lot of you chosen ones who are going through stuff, I can only give you hope. You have got to understand the dust will settle. You just don't see it yet, but the dust will settle. Your time will come, okay? When your time comes, you will know. So let us know what you think about the video in the comment section below. You guys know I do love and appreciate your support. Please book a session if you want to. You may donate or support my channel if you want to. Everything you need, you will find it in the description below. And until then, I will catch you guys in my next one. Nikymus signing out. Much love and blessings. Peace.